Hello, welcome to another edition of Issues with Jide. Here we'll talk about actions and inactions of those who shape our political and national landscape and how these impact us positively or otherwise. I'm Ibrahim Shita. Today on the show, drama in Rivers as court stops impeachment move against Fubara and deputy. We'll also be looking at Atiku Abubakar's son abandons him, joins APC. In the course of the program, we take your questions, but first subscribe to our YouTube channel and drop your questions in the comment section. It's important to mention that we can only read comments with human names and ones based on the subject matter. I have joining me via Zoom, the maestro himself, Babajide Oladetuju, who had to leave a retreat to join us on Issues with Jide this evening. Good to see you, BKO.
I'm going to do this with you, Ibrahim. Thank God your voice is clearer now. So you are ready to go.
Absolutely. All right,
And
then
I
let's
can
get on
see
to
a microphone in your front. You are looking
absolutely.
like a big boy.
Issues with Jide got better, really. Where we are looking to upgrade our technology, and then we just in the process. Next week will be even better than this. All right, then. In River State, a high court has issued an interim injunction restraining the River State House of Assembly and the chief judge from advancing impeachment proceedings against Governor Simlai Fubara and his deputy, Professor Ngozi Odu. The court order is set to last 7 days, pending further hearing, even as the Assembly insists impeachment will continue. Vikeo, why do you think River State's political impasse has defied meaningful resolution?
Well, yeah, power just because they think nothing will happen. And at the end of the day, it is the judiciary that gets mocked when this kind of orders are given. One thing is certain. No matter how bad a court order is, you have to obey it until you are able to set it aside through a competent court, until you appeal and get a stay, before even an order of the superior court is given. You have to obey that court. So this conduct of our judges, who from time to time perpetuate injustice, is common, and I'm not surprised that this has happened. People have asked me, can a court stop anyone from receiving a document? I've never heard that a court was stopped from receiving a document, but it has happened in Rivers State. And let me read the order, part of the order. The chief judge is hereby restrained from receiving or acting upon any impeachment-related communication from the Assembly for the purpose of constituting an investigative panel against the governor and his deputy. So Fubara and his deputy had approached the court saying that the Assembly was bent on removing them from office unconstitutionally. So the court then restrained Justice Chibuzo Simon Amadi from receiving any impeachment notice from the Rivers State House of Assembly. The clerk and 29 assembly members were joined in the interim order that was issued. But the House proceeded to vote in favor of continuation of the impeachment process. including 4 members who had earlier asked for a political solution to the problem. So there's a lot of drama going on in Rivers State because I never expected that the same lawmakers who had demanded for the matter to be addressed politically, who had dissociated themselves more or less from the impeachment notice, and people began to see some form of friction between the 27 lawmakers loyal to Nyesom Wike. They now began to see that they were no longer united. But suddenly, they called a press conference and said, "Oh, we are resolute on the matter of impeachment. We are on the same side with our uh, colleagues, and we've been going through a lot of intimidation and all that." This is where we are. And as I've said in previous programs, I still believe that the president can address this matter. The president is back now from his last trip. So I believe the president has to call the people concerned. Yes, people will argue that the president shouldn't call them, that he should leave Fubara to deal with the matter. After all, the president had intervened in the past. Fubara didn't do anything, this and that. But he's the president of everyone. And if things, and Fubara has joined his party, his political party, so he cannot watch what is going on in Rivers State continue. The president has to play the fatherly role to resolve this dispute. He has to do just as he had done in the past. I trust him that he will be able to call the Minister of FCT, Nyesom Wike, and appeal to him that in the interest of peace, this impeachment notice should be withdrawn. I believe that that is possible. I have not given up on that. But as I've said repeatedly, the governor has to do better. He has to find a way to reach out, get the assembly members on his side. I don't understand why it is so difficult for these people to come together, for them to resolve their differences. Rivers State shouldn't be in the news all the time for the escalation of friction between Nyesom Wike and his godson, the governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara. I think that it is possible to resolve the matter. And once the big political players step in, the lawmakers will sheath their swords. And the governor should be able to reach out to them. It's a measure of his political naivety that he has not been able to find a way to penetrate these people, reach out to them, and let them feel that he's ready to work with them. So, but as you can see, not many people are convinced that the impeachment process should go on. In fact, somebody asked me that what is the offense of Ngozi Odu, the deputy governor? What is her offense? You can accuse Fubara of a number of things. In fact, the Supreme Court came hard on Fubara in terms of the way he ran the state like an emperor. But what can you say about Ngozi? What is Ngozi's offense? That's the deputy governor. What is her offense? How did she breach the Constitution to the point that what she did is seen as gross misconduct? What is the gross misconduct that the deputy governor, who is hardly seen, has committed? That is why many people believe that this is just political, or an opportunity to settle scores, or an opportunity to find the leeway for Martin Amewule to become the acting governor. Because once the deputy governor is brushed aside along with the governor, then the speaker would step in as the acting governor, just as it happened in Ekiti State when Ayo Fayose was illegally impeached, and the Supreme Court affirmed that he was illegally impeached, and that's why it is not in the record. It's not known to law that Ayodele Fayose was impeached. In fact, he came back, contested the election, and won. Became the governor for a second term. Because normally, if you are impeached, you cannot contest an election until like after 10 years. But he came back, not long after his impeachment, came back and won the election. He became governor for a second time. So it's unfortunate that all this is happening in Rivers State, but the fact that the president has returned should help us. Get to the end of this matter quickly. We need to see some action from the presidency um, with a view to solving this problem.
Right. So lawmakers have said that the governor's leadership has been problematic, and the motion to impeach is backed by a majority in the assembly. But in a democratic system, how do we balance the legislature's political mandate to hold executives accountable with a risk of judicial overreach in this case?
You see, everything revolves around the governor. The governor must play his politics well. He must get his politics right so that he will have considerable control of the assembly. Otherwise, political opponents will use the assembly to terrorize him. And the fact is clear. If you do not have the support of the lawmakers, then your days could actually be numbered. This was what happened to Balabe Musa, who was governor of Kaduna State. He was the first Nigerian governor to be impeached. He was the House. The MPN had overwhelming control of the House. So, and he was having this back and forth with them. He never really worked with the assembly. He disagreed with them repeatedly. So they just felt, at a point, they were tired of his antics, so to take over. But in this case, the Rivers State Assembly want to impeach Fubara's deputy when they can't really point at the offenses she has committed. Deputy governor has committed. So, and that's why people think that this is just a game meant to get the governor and his deputy out of the way so that the speaker, who is the number 3 person in the state, can step in until such a time when a new governor will emerge. That is clearly their goal. They don't want to see both men. And there's always a problem when you behave like this, because you may never be able to prove that the deputy governor deserved the sack, because you are going to set up a panel, and the panel's report will determine the next line of action. So if the panel says the governor and his deputy have committed no offense, then the whole effort to impeach him will end right there. That was what happened. It was of the CPC, whereas the House was dominated by the PDP. So they
Yeah,
hurriedly wanted to get him out of the way. They didn't do their due diligence. They didn't do it well. The chief judge set up a panel, but the panel refused to find the governor guilty. And Makura was able to retain his position. Because it's a check and balance at work. Yes, so that you don't be the judge in your own matter. You can deem a governor worthy of being impeached as a House of Assembly, but it is the chief judge that will set up a panel, a 7-man panel that will look at the allegations that you have raised. And if that panel looks at the allegations and affirms in his report that those allegations are not strong enough and that the governor was not guilty, that is where it ends. You can't proceed to go and impeach at that point. And if you do that, you have merely wasted your time because the court will set aside the impeachment. So the
that's right.
panel, they have asked the governor, in spite of the efforts being made to stop the impeachment, the House sent in um, a notice to the chief judge of the state, uh, Justice Chibuzo Simon Amadi, directing him to set up a panel, which will investigate Fubara and his deputy. So if the panel deems Fubara to have not committed an offense, that is the end of the story. That is the end of the story. But
All right.
if you ask me, I don't think the matter should even get to that point. The president, as the leader of the APC, a party that Fubara has just joined, needs to step in at this stage, calm Nyesom Wike down, and tell him that he needs both men on his side. And this is the way I've analyzed this situation. Mr. President needs Fubara. Mr. President needs Nyesom Wike. So he has to find a way to reconcile both arrogant men and get them to commit to peace so that they can both work for his re-election, because he's interested in winning River State. But the way to do it is not to have two men at loggerheads. They have to pool resources together to help the president to win. So the president knows that he has to have both men on his side. He's not prepared to, at least as of now, he's not prepared to throw one under the bus and give the other one preeminence. That is
That's
not
right.
his style. So I do not see him doing that.
Right. Okay, let me take some comments before we move to the other topic. We have Chinedu Okafor saying this rivers matter is beginning to look like power play, not governance. Courts or no courts. The people just want peace and roads, not drama every week. Blessing Tamuno says the court did well. Impeachment should not be a political weapon. Rivers has been this movie before. I've seen this movie before, and it never ends well. Sunday Adebayo says Section 188 says courts shouldn't interfere. Simple. Let the lawmakers do their job. Democracy isn't only about governors. Ngozi Eze says the assembly wants to rush impeachment, but prize foul when the court steps in. Separation of powers cuts both ways. And then we have Gratola saying, okay, he said it's good to be married. Ibrahim, wife is doing a great job. Thank you. We also have we have Larry Active saying that I don't know don't use the word rubbish anyway, but I don't know what Fubara is doing in APC instead of ADC. It needs to be ready to fight to the end. Jide Thomas says the truth is that Fubara is politically naive. How can you start fighting someone as strong as Wiki without any political structure? Okay, let's change tag because of our time, because football is going on, and I believe currently they are on penalty shootouts. I guess so far, I think so far Nigeria actually had four goals above Egypt. I guess we're leading. This is what the stats I can see from here. Okay, BK, let's move on to Atiku Abubakar. You know, Abubakar Abba Atiku, the son of former vice president and opposition leader Atiku Abubakar, has defected from the PDP and effectively the ADC coalition to the ruling All Progressives Congress APC, during his political structure to support, directing rather his political structure to support President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda and his 2027 re-election bid. His father, Atiku Abubakar, has publicly framed the move as his son's personal choice, even as critics say it's a symbolic blow to his political brand. But BKO, how significant is this political shift?
This is the first time in recent history where I'm seeing this happening. Usually, even when a child has political differences with his father, he does not go to this extent. So in recent history, we are seeing this. We saw late Olusola Saraki move away to join another party when he had disagreement with his son, Bukola, Abubakar Bukola Saraki. He didn't want Bukola he wanted Bemi Saraki, his daughter, to succeed Bukola Saraki. But Bukola Saraki did not want his sister to succeed him. Of course, there's sibling rivalry, and both of them were not really getting along at that time. So Bukola felt, look, this should not happen. But his father, knowing that Bukola controlled the structures of the party in the state, decided to move out of the party to go and join a different party where the daughter could realize her ambition. But unfortunately, Bukola Saraki decided to go for power shift. He allowed power to go to, he allowed the governorship in the state and his own party to go to Kwara South, enabling Abdul Fattah, popularly known as Megiri Abdul Fattah Ahmed, son of a policeman, to succeed him because Fattah won the election, and that sounded the political death. Late Olusola Saraki. But in this case, given that his father had contested election at least 6 times, he had wanted to become president of this country at least 6 times. Many people were taken aback by Abba Atiku Abubakar's decision to go and join the APC. The same APC that Atiku Abubakar had accused of rigging him out of the presidency in 2023. That's the same APC that he accused them of rigging the election in 2019. So many people are taken aback, and some people are not impressed. In fact, I've seen those who said, oh, maybe the boy is a mole, the young man is a mole who came into the party to spy on the APC. And Adamu Garuba, a former presidential aide, was not really impressed. He said, any child who dumps his father when he's needed the most will not hesitate to dump you, no matter who else you are. So he's already warning the APC that Abba cannot be trusted. If he could dump his own father politically the way he has done at such a critical time as this. His father was the 2023 PDP presidential candidate. He is the front runner for the presidency, at least in the um, African Democratic Congress and the new face of the opposition in our country. So, but the PDP Lagos chapter are taunting Atiku Abubakar, and they are saying that the defection underscores deeper questions about trust, conviction, and leadership. That if his own son can distrust him to the point that he broke away from him politically, that it shows that Atiku Abubakar cannot be trusted. As far as the APC is concerned, they are framing this, the people in the APC, they are framing this as an endorsement of his governance agenda, and that it's a big blow to the credibility of the former VP and questions trust, conviction, and leadership. In fact, the APC Lagos chapter looked at the matter this way. When a man's own son deserts his political judgment, repudiates his choices, and embraces an alternative path, Nigerians are entitled to ask what deeper indictment of credibility is required. If those closest to you are unconvinced by your political convictions, how do you expect an entire nation to suspend disbelief? So basically, the argument they are making is if Atiku Abubakar's son can dump him politically in the manner that Abba has done, walking up to the deputy Senate president, Senator Barrow, and pledging loyalty to the APC, then it shows that Atiku Abubakar cannot be trusted, that even his family does not trust him, and therefore Nigerians do not deserve to trust him. This is the way they are framing this whole narrative, that it's a big blow to his political aspiration for his own son to literally disown him politically. Atiku Abubakar's son disowning him politically at such a critical juncture. We are just about 7 months or so, probably 7 months or so to the next election. 7 months or 8 months to the next, 1 year, sorry. We are just about 1 year, 1 month to the next election. And then we are seeing this happening. So, to the APC, it is this shows that Atiku does not deserve to be president. And as we always see on social media, people will milk this as best as they can. People will make a lot of noise about this because it is not common. So that is where we are. The former spokesperson of the APC even said, look, this person is not wanted. He's a spy. He has come to spy on us. That's Igbokwe. Igbokwe said, look, I'm not impressed. This young man has come to spy on us. We have to be careful, this and that, because this kind of thing does not happen. It's a reality. You can imagine for us to see Sheyi Tinubu stepped forward and said, no, I no longer belong to my father's party. I decided to join the rival party to my father's party. It's, um, it's surreal. It doesn't happen regularly. It's a little strange politically, but that's what it is. In Nigerian politics, literally everything, anything can happen. And this is what we have seen.
So, looking at it, this event actually comes against a backdrop of broader, party defections nationwide, with many
Yes.
politicians into the APC. What structural issues within parties like the PDP and ADC are being exposed by this wave of defections, and what does it mean for Nigeria's party system heading into 2027?
We've got to do something about the way politicians jump from one party to another. They change party the way women change their underwears. It's really sad. I don't know what we can do, but there has to be a way. And it's going to get worse because the Supreme Court ruling affirmed that only the Speaker of the House of Assembly can declare assembly seat vacant. So what it means is that if you join the political party of the Speaker, will it make sense for him to say that he wants to declare your seat vacant? You have joined his own political party. You have made his party stronger. So why would he then go on to say, oh, we are going to declare your seat vacant? So that the judgment has not helped the case of those who believe that the Supreme Court, that we should do something about the way people defect from party to party. I think that what we have seen is strange. Look at how many people have defected in the National Assembly, especially the House of Reps, from Labour Party to the APC. They've almost totally defected. So something has to be done because it shows that politics in our country is not based on any guiding principle. Is not um, based on ideology that people just feel free to move from party A to party B without thinking of the consequences. And as we approach an election year, this will get worse. We are still going to see many more people uh, defecting. Ibrahim,
I'm with you, actually. Right.
so
So,
why are we seeing that video? Yeah.
okay,
So
probably that's an interference.
it's going to get worse, and it's not good. Our politicians by their conduct have not covered themselves in glory. Moving, and in fact, some of the commentators were saying, that you cannot blame Atiku's son. That Atiku is also known to be moving from one party to another in the desire to actualize his ambition of being the president of Nigeria. They talked about how he left the PDP for AC, and then left the ACN and went back to the PDP, left the PDP, um, came to the APC, and left the APC again and joined went back to the PDP. Now he has left the PDP to join the ADC. So they are saying that, look, Atiku himself has been known to be a nomadic politician moving from one political party to another. So it shouldn't be any surprise it shouldn't be a surprise to anyone that his son has chosen to move to
That's
another
right.
party that is basically doing what his father is known for. So that is really unfortunate.
Absolutely, like father, like son. They would say,
So
in
I
other
don't
words.
think the son has political value, really. I do not read about him, I do not know him. I don't think he has
Yeah,
political value, but it's damaging enough to
that's
hear
right.
that somebody who came from Atiku Abubakar's loins has decided to join a party that is the biggest rival to his father's new political family or political party. So that's is damaging and significant enough. Whether the boy has political value or not is really damaging for his own
Okay.
offspring to dump him politically in the way the boy has done. So the Atiku Abubakar saying that his son is permitted to join any party of his choice does not really cut it. It speaks to a bigger problem,
That's right.
which is that even within his own family, his people are not convinced of
Mm,
his capacity of his brand of politics and all that.
that's right. It actually speaks volume. Okay, Ibrahim Lawal says Atiku's son joining APC is his personal choice. Nigeria is not a monarchy. Let's stop acting shocked. Funke Ogbele says, this is a big blow, no matter how you spin it. Optics matter in politics, especially heading to 2027. Yusuf Abdullahi says, even if even your son doesn't believe in your party, what message does that send to undecided voters? Kemi Balogun says, people defect every day in Nigeria. We only care now because it's Atiku's son. Hypocrisy is loud. Samuel Nwoye says, APC will make this politically. PDP will downplay it. Same old political chairs. And then we'll have Sultan Shokumbi say, watching from Manchester. Please, Ibrahim, what time is this program starting on Saturday now? Have been waiting since 6 p.m. Nigeria time, please. Oh, okay. It's still the regular time. It's just because of the football, going on. We're trying to like make Nigerians enjoy. And thank God we triumphed over, our adversary this time, Egypt. So defeated them 4-2. And Vicky also had to leave his own retreat. He's currently in the program, so he had to leave to attend issues with Jide, all because of us. Uh, Imam Robert says, why should Fubara ask the court to stop the chief judge when he knows he's not guilty? And the court has the right to stop, the courts have the right to stop the constitutional rights of the assembly not to proceed. Um, okay, Fortune Ubani says, Abba wants to be governor, so it's a personal matter, an ambition. Okay, this person is saying, five. I can't really read his name well, but he's saying, Uncle Jide, you are not right by saying two men. It's it takes only trusted man like Wike to deliver Tinubu in 2027. We are still testing the integrity of similar Fubara. He's trying to spell similar it was similar. Good Fubara, Governor River State. Okay. And then Nelson Adufai saying Fubara needs calmness this time and should have learned his lesson from the recent problem he had with Wiki that pushed him into a shameful suspension. Okay, too many comments here. Nelson Adufai also saying Atiku is not a man to lead this country in any way. And I want to add that changing of party should be restricted from defecting of party from defection from party to party, we need serious-minded parties and politicians. Okay, so many comments. We won't be able to, exhaust this time now. Because you have your final thoughts as we, call it a wrap. For instance, we have Daniel Uche saying from Rivers impeachment to impeachment dramas of defections, Nigerian politics feel like a reality show with no commercial break. Do you agree with Daniel Uche?
I like that. Well, I still I would like to end on this note by saying, well, I believe there is still room for political solution to the crisis in Rivers State. Hopefully, that political solution will happen. And the they need to be spoken to. Hopefully, we'll come to we'll find peace in Rivers State.
That's right. That's right. And that's our show for today's edition of Issues with Jide. Special thanks to you, Baba Jide, caller to talk for those in settlement states as always. You may now go back to your retreat.
Thank you, Ibrahim. Whatever the situation, we'll do this program any Saturday, wherever we find ourselves.
That's right.
That's the way it's been for years. And we hold our viewers in high esteem. We value their feedback. We value their support. So no matter the situation, we would do this program every Saturday.
And congratulations to Nigeria as well for defeating Egypt.
And congratulations to the Super Eagles. I think they deserved a medal. They deserve something from this tournament. And thank God they got a fitting reward.
Absolutely. Thanks to our audience for keeping company on every edition. You can see the program again anytime by subscribing to our YouTube channel, TVC News Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button to get the latest information. You can also follow us on our social media platforms at TVC News NG. I'm also at Ibrahim_Shita. On behalf of the rest of the team, I'm Ibrahim Shita. See you again next edition. Bye for now.